Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today is not going to be a very happy video. I've been waiting for a while to feel like I was remotely ready to attempt this video. For those of you that have been watching my pregnancy vlogs, it has come to an end. And I'm not just saying that because my pregnancy problems are no longer there, but I'm saying it basically because it ended up in us losing our only son. Um, it's been only a week, and I just wanted to start making these videos and kind of documenting the mourning process a little bit. For those of you that might be going through it yourselves, you can kind of look at my videos and kind of get a view into my life. And those of you that are subscribed to me, you know that especially with my pregnancy vlogs and my health, I'm pretty open about it. Excuse me, my throat is just so scratchy right now. But anyways, we had a beautiful baby boy that we were pregnant with, and his name was Evan Tyler. And we ended up having his funeral. When was it? Saturday, so just a few days ago. And we decided to have him cremated. I was 21 weeks along. And I apologize for how much I'm having to clear my throat. This is just really emotional for me to make. I never thought it would come to this. I really thought that things were going to get better. And I never expected to lose him. I had so many dreams for him. I expected to be doing videos on our nursery, the baby clothes I got for him, our stash that we had for him. We were so prepared for his arrival, and we just didn't expect it to end this way. We could have never prepared for the loss of our only son. So anyways, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what happened. Basically, I had the subchorionic hemorrhage, and I was bleeding pretty heavily throughout my pregnancy. At first, it started off where I was just bleeding once a month, like a period, and I was a little crampy. But I wasn't too worried because my youngest daughter, I had the same thing with her basically, and she was born early at 24 weeks, but she made it. But I started bleeding really, really bad about 2 weeks ago. And I was losing so much blood and I started cramping, so I went to the emergency room. They told me the baby looked fine and everything looked fine, and all that, so they sent me home after a day, after the bleeding kind of slowed down. Then I went into the hospital again, like a day later or two, because I was having some pretty bad cramps, and I don't know, it didn't feel right to me, so I went in, and it was my mistake for going in, because we got a horrible nurse, and I really feel like, I hate to blame anybody, but I just feel like if I would never got that nurse, he would still be here right now. Because she basically, in order to put the Doppler in my stomach, she squeezed my stomach so hard that I could feel her grab the baby in my stomach. It hurt. It was really painful. And I had a natural reflex and kind of raised my voice at her, and I grabbed her hand off of me and told her my doctor doesn't want anyone handling my stomach rough. And she was just a complete bitch about everything. It was a horrible experience. And I'm pretty sure she broke my water. Again, I apologize. I'm just a mess. But basically, she sent us home. She was like, "Oh, you're just it doesn't even look like you're having contractions or anything." And I knew I was in pain. I knew I was having contractions, but she sent us home and I was just tired of everything and tired of dealing with her. So, we went home. And then that night, I started bleeding really heavily, heavier than I ever bled before. And I didn't even realize I was sleeping. And in the middle of the night, my water broke because I basically bled through the entire mattress. And my husband, after looking at it, said it didn't look like it was just blood. It looked like my water broke. And I didn't want to think about my water breaking. It seemed all like a nightmare. I didn't really want to think anything was wrong or anything, so I just dealt with my cramps and everything. And then I went to the doctor the day after, and she said everything looked fine. She said everything looked fine. And she said that I might have a leak in my amniotic fluid, but that other than that, baby was fine. He was growing and he was gonna be big. And she told me that he was 1 pound, about 1 pound 5 ounces, which is big at 21 weeks. Because my daughter at 24, almost 25 weeks when she was born, she was 1 pound 5 ounces. So I was really happy, and she said he was growing, he was getting strong, he was big. I felt him kick all the time. He was such an active baby compared to my other ones. So I didn't think anything was wrong. And then the next morning, I woke up and I had these horrible, horrible cramps. And at first, I thought they were cramps, and they just kept on getting more and more intense. And then finally, I was like, you know what? These aren't going away. And I've had them all night long, and they're starting to get really painful. So I went ahead and called 911 for the millionth time, thinking it would be uneventful. And so I went in the ambulance. And when I got there, they said I was in preterm labor. And I was in so much pain. They gave me medicine to stop the contractions, and that helped for a little bit. But then they did an ultrasound, and my doctor came in, and I just knew that something wasn't right. They basically said I had no amniotic fluid at all, and that what I was gonna have him any day. And my heart just literally broke into a million pieces. Because at that point I knew I couldn't save him. No matter how much I wanted to save him, I just couldn't. And I felt like I failed. But my doctor just looked at me and she started crying and she said, "I'm sorry. I just don't think we can save this one." So that was pretty much how I knew that I was gonna meet him soon. And there was no chance and no shot that he was gonna survive. So basically, I had to be in labor all that time, just knowing that I was gonna give birth to my baby and he wasn't gonna make it. So the contractions were stopped for a while, and my body pretty much wasn't cramping, so I felt optimistic, and I was like, maybe everything's gonna be okay. I just have to relax. And then later, I guess the second day after I was admitted, 4 days after my water broke, started the bad contractions. I went out for some fresh air because I was stuck in my hospital room. So a nurse wheeled me out in a wheelchair and I got some fresh air, and that's when they came really strong. And by nightfall, They were so painful that I had to get an epidural. It was the worst pain. If someone hasn't been through it before, the only way you can describe it is like the life is getting ripped out of you. It's completely different than being in labor with a baby that has a chance. With my oldest, it was much more of a pain-free experience, but with this one, since I was losing him, not many people understand that even at 21 weeks, a woman has to go through full labor in order to have a baby that size. I have to have the contractions. I have to go through the excruciating pain and even the emotional pain of just knowing that they're not going to make it. And this is part one. Sorry it's such a long video, but I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and you're welcome to join me in part two.